And wow, he really needed some swarm on those Archons. Archons far less effective underneath swarm. And Jesus, just tons of +3/+3 weapon Archons, and he's even got a +1 upgrade on the shields. But somehow, just enough forces thrown at that situation to take out those Archons regardless. And that is really surprising. I cannot believe that those Archons were taken down. Well, I mean, well, I can believe it. He had a lot of forces there, but usually that many Archons is just absolute death for a Zerg army. But somehow he manages to hold off. Now what Machine needs to do right now is do something that... Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I failed at observing. He indeed did exactly what we needed to do, was send in a little counterattack and try and take out one of these bases. I completely missed it. I apologize since I was following that single Archon around. But, wow, Machine is in really good shape. He's got maxed army again. He's got more ultras, and he's got Mighty in the Bank to produce more ultras as well. That is one of the advantages of the Zerg is that he can replace his army a lot faster than the Protoss can. You see, G5 still back down at 160 supply, and unfortunately G5 is going to be able to defend that little ramp. Machine might have been better off going around the long way, though, and then he would have had to deal with a lot more cannons. So Machine forced to fall back here. And G5 now with Arbiters in play. Wow. Arbiters are now in play as well. And so that means that basically it's not going to be too big of a problem, I don't think, for Machine. He's just going to have to start grouping Overlords with his... Hello, Defiler. Grouping Overlords with his troops and just running them around so he can see the cloaked units. But it is going to be very annoying for him to have to do that, especially if, you know, there's a lot of Dragoons in play. In the midst of battles, he may lose Overlords and lose sight. It's not going to be easy for him to deal with. It's going to be very annoying. He's going to have to concentrate more on the battles and do some more micro in that sense. Anyway, let's see. G5 almost back up to max. He's probably going to be back up to max pretty soon here. And again, I missed another drop. Some forces being dropped in the back here. I'm going to have to keep it as closer eye on the minimap, but it's hard to catch the little flecks of white. And it looks like I've completely failed at observing so far. I missed another drop that took out the natural expansion, although it looks as if there really wasn't any minerals left there regardless, so not too big of a deal to miss out on that. Anyway, Machine going in here for another attack down here at the bottom left, and whoa, a ton of forces going in here. The Swarm a little bit late, though. He needs to get that Swarm on top of those cannons a little bit sooner. And there's a Reaver in play as well. Those are going to be very dangerous for these Ultras. He needs to try and pick those off if possible. It's too bad he didn't have some Hydras in the mix to try and pick those off, but he is going to pick off two of the Reavers with only a couple Scarabs let loose. Another couple Reavers are there, and they're going to go down as well, but they get a few Scarabs off each, and those were brand new Reavers, I think, so they didn't have the Scarabs queued up. And so these Ultras are actually going to penetrate into this base. G5's army coming in from behind to try and clean this up. And G5's army is going to be fine underneath the Swarm. It's going to be able to do fine. Another drop at the top right, top left here. I am catching it this time here. It's going to be able to pick off these buildings. Possibly, you know, cancel the upgrade on the shields. Looks like that shields upgrade is going to go down. But G5 should be able to clean this up as soon as he gets some troops back up in here. However, his army has been sent to the bottom left, and so it's going to be hard for him to do that. And actually, Machine following up with more forces coming in the front. He's got a large army that's going to come straight down the front of G5's main base, while G5's army is stuck down here. And he's even going to send some forces down here to attack G5's army and waylay his army here. Looks like G5 may actually just camp his army here and hold this position. He's got a maxed army. And he really doesn't need this base. It looks like, okay, it looks like he has cleaned it up after all. He sent some of his extra forces there. So, but really the important places right now are his mining bases. And this is almost mined out, actually. So really, this base and this base are the kind of two important bases for G5 right now. Machine, the Zerg usually has less drones than a Protoss would have probes. So Machine's doing okay on some of these bases. He's not quite as close to mined out, even though he's had a couple of them for longer. Although G5's had his bases for quite a while, though. Anyway, but Machine is still doing fine at this base. Although he is mined out in his main, though, on all the expansions by his main. And look at this X of troops, forces coming in from all different angles, meeting in the middle here. Some lurkers coming in as well. Arbiters are in player, Overlords coming in at the right moment to try and see that, but Machine didn't really have a huge army there to deal with that situation. Now the Ultralisks coming in here. Machine, whoa, Stasis Ultralisks coming in. Wow. And he's got storms to burn, so trying to cast storms on these approaching Ultralisks, but really not too much to hit with them. Just several Ultralisks there, and a few of them are stasis, so they are probably going to go down pretty quickly once they go in there. But anyway, more Ultralisks popping out here. Machine just has had just enough of an income to try and to just keep a maxed army here. He's got a lot of Ultras here. He really needs some Swarm, though. He really needs some Swarm. No Defilers in the vicinity, though. And a lot of Archons are going to come in here and just do a ton of damage. Terrible damage. And, wow. With the popping noises that I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, it appears that a lot of those Archons were actually hallucinations. So... hallucinations of Archons, and that's how there were so many. I thought that there was a lot of Archons there. Some Plague's going to go down to try and see some of these cloaked units. It's going to plague the Arbor itself, and just with sheer force of will, Machine is going to hold back this attack here. It looks like he may be going in for another small drop. Yeah, just some cracklings are going to come in here, and unfortunately for that drop, G5's army within his own base is going to be more than enough to deal with that situation. Oh, but he's going to cancel 5 Zealots queued up in that gateway, although it doesn't really matter. I mean, G5's got 88, he's got almost 9,000 minerals, 2,500 gas in the bank. Machine with far less money in the bank, and that's really the kicker here, is that G5 has plenty of money to work from, and Machine does not. And I think that's going to be the downfall in the long run. But if he can take out those mining bases, he may be able to come back into it here. He gets the swarm down. He needs to get another swarm in there. But oh no, these Reavers are just going to do too much damage. Even with underneath the swarm, I mean these cannons are just going to be extra hit points that the Ultras have to get through in order to get to those Reavers. He really needed some Hydrals there to pick off those Reavers. Not going to happen. Or at least he could have targeted down the Nexus and try and kill that. But again, just not going to happen there. He's sending in another force here of units. He really needs to take care of those Reavers somehow, though, and he just can't get to them. There's too much crap in the way. Well, a couple Ultras are going to run all the way around the back, try and take out these Reavers. One Reaver goes down, but another one has just spawned in its place, and that goes down to some cracklings. The last Reaver is left, and it's going to go down to focused fire from cracklings. The Ultralisk as well is going to survive, and he's going to be able to take out probably that robotics facility before the next Reaver spawns, so he may in fact take out this base. G5, however, counterattacking the top right, is taking out a lot of units up here, a lot of defenses in the way there, and really this is do or die for Machine to defend this. If he loses these bases, he is in real trouble because he does not have that bank to fall back on that G5 does right now. It looks as if G5 is not going to be able to penetrate directly into the main there. Oh, wow, Maelstrom going doing taking control of that Ultralisk, stopping it in his tracks, and not literally taking control, but stopping it from doing anything. Well, this Ice Storm did full damage to it, and wow, so Machine has cleaned up this bottom left base. So basically G5 only mining at this base, and only barely. He's mined out up here. He's got several probes he could run down here, but critically he is low on gas at this point. So he has managed to run himself out of gas. Even though he had a store of 2,500 gas, it just wasn't enough with all this money he's been spending on Archons and Dark Archons and Reavers. He's slowly and surely depleted himself of his gas reserves. He's not mining gas out of his depleted mine in his main. It looks like he's mining gas there and there, and that is it. And of course here he's mining a full gas mine. So he's bringing in what is that? 3 depleteds is 2 each, and 1 normal is 8. So it's basically like 1.5, almost 2 gas mines, basically. and he's also just standing here while this sunken colony builds. I'm not sure what. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's not really a point to defeating, trying to kill off that base actually. Looks like G5 trying to take back this base here, while Machine trying to expand there. And if he could take this base and hold it, that would be really, really huge for him. Wow. Oh, Maelstrom's gonna stop those Ultralists along with the Zealots as well, actually, while the Reavers clean up. And the Reavers are going to be able to take out this base. He should probably cancel this hatchery, actually, because he is low on money. I don't think he can afford to lose that few hundred minerals. Actually, he's going to try and hold it. Forces that huge Ultralist force